What is going on, folks? Welcome back to the Dots Podcast, Season 2, Episode 11, Week 10 of the NFL. Week 9 just wrapped up. Today is November 9th, 2023, just before the Thursday night football game between the Panthers and the
Two very
Bears. Should be
crappy
an
teams, may
interesting
I
one.
add.
It will be a very interesting game nonetheless, but I feel like a lot of the Thursday night football games this year have kind of been a little bit of disappointments. The ones recently, though, have gotten a little better.
I mean,
I'll
Philly,
be honest
Minnesota was
about that.
good. The kickoff game was good.
It was good. It was good. And and that was a game that I missed too, unfortunately. So I feel like I've been watching all the bad ones. But, anyways, here on the home sideline, here in Stevens Point, with a different camera angle. People in the comment section, let me know what you think of this new angle. Introducing my bed. Here on the home sideline is Brendan Retzlaff, aka Brett's.golf 99 Brett Brendine in the house.
Yeah, wait, at the. Oh my gosh. Excuse me.
Wow. What's going on
I
here?
don't know.
Maybe you might have to adjust your camera angle.
Maybe two. I don't know. Let's try that. Here on the away side at Lake University, Smack Crowley, aka your boy Matty Icy. Back at it again with. Oh, my corkboards fell off. Anyways.
You're going to have to change your camera angle because it's really dark on your side.
Is it really?
There you go. That's a little better. That's better. That's better right there. There you go.
Anyways, you know it. It's me, Matty Icy. We hit PRs and we play football. That's all we do.
PRs and play football. I love hearing
and
that.
Schoolwork.
Personal records, play football, academic record. Gotta worry about that one too.
Yes.
Speaking of academics today.
Huh?
Speaking of in academics, so today I had a microeconomics class that lasted about 15 minutes. I also had an accounting class that lasted 15 minutes. And I don't know what I learned in either of them.
Did you even go?
So I'm just releasing to the public. I don't know what I learned today. Which,
nice.
You know what? That's fine. I don't know. But we're going to try to go quick with this episode here today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go over a few different things. Especially, we'll talk about injuries that have been going on throughout the league, as well as players who might be returning back to the field after missing a few weeks. One of them being on Matt Crowley's team, or Matty Icy's team,
yes,
on the Vikings. Another thing we'll talk about too is how these roughing the passer penalties are really affecting play in the league and really making the NFL the no fun league rather than the National Football League. And we'll also talk about other things that have to do with the officials, as in, like, should they be fined? We'll answer that question for you later. And another topic we'll go over is players who could now be in the MVP conversation following their amazing performances after Week 9. And there's two quarterbacks who are out there that are very possible for that. And then we'll go over our top 10s and our game predictions. So let's kick things off, Matt.
Yeah, first order. Excuse me. First orders of business are the injuries. And also with that, obviously, a lot of these have been QBs. There's been, I think, roughly around half the league QBs at one point have either gotten hurt or injured. So it's been a rough doubting. Obviously, this past week we saw the most rookie QBs ever start in a single week. But yeah, not to mention like the Vikings. This is a prime example of injuries for QBs. Kirk Cousins goes down with a torn Achilles against Green Bay, and then Jaren Hall, our backup, goes down in the first quarter with a concussion, and Josh Dobbs. So we all know the rest of that story.
Josh Dobbs, shout out, the MVP, Nickelodeon's
MVP.
most valuable player.
Yeah, you know how that goes.
But
injuries have just been. It seems like there's a lot of Achilles because Cam Akers just tore his Achilles as well. I mean, Honestly, when there's an
That
injury
injury
that
looked
happens
bad.
on turf, everyone wants to get rid of turf, but when it happens on grass, no one says a word.
For real. You preach, dude.
I do. I'm just doing some stuff right here. Don't mind me.
So, okay. Talking about the injuries, yes, this year has seemed like there have been a significant amount more injuries compared to prior seasons, as especially to star players in the league. I mean, you're talking about, yeah, like half the quarterbacks have gone down this year. And like, yes, some of them they have been returning, but like it almost causes a concern because the NFL is about providing safety to their players.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like it's just not working out well. And you're to your point about the turf causing injuries, and then also when there's injuries from being on grass fields, I find that stuff to be absolutely ridiculous. And even though the NFL Players Association has like tried to petition against turf fields, I can see where they're coming from doing that. Like just because of, I mean, Aaron Rodgers went down. I'm trying to think of all the other players who have gone down on turf, Matt.
Cam
There have been a lot.
Akers. Oh no, not Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins was on
Yeah, he
grass.
was on grass. There's probably some that I'm just not thinking of right now that are like blatantly obvious that everyone's shouting at us.
There's probably a list somewhere. I just can't like think right now because I'm so freaking hungry, man.
Yeah.
um, yeah, but everybody knows who for the people who have been keeping up with our show, and not just our show, like Pat McAfee show or any other show on NFL Network, ESPN, CBS, or Fox Sports. I mean, um, you can really understand, and I just heard my roommates yell and say my name. But as I was going, you'll be able to figure out which players had these injuries and things because we talked about it. But yeah, it's ridiculous. There's still players getting hurt on grass field. Like, what do you want it to turn into rubber? You
Well,
know?
well, here's the thing. Like, obviously, like I personally have stepped on an NFL field. I've played on an NFL field before. I can see where they are coming from because once you plant your foot, you don't really move. So whatever you try to cut, like try to juke, try to make a wrong move, like try to turn, your foot like it's like glue almost.
That's
So
interesting.
it's
So like,
like
it's very shock absorbent.
well, like compared to like Lakeland has super nice turf. It's turf, but you can also still you can still make cuts. You can still have that ankle flexibility that for when you cut your ankle can turn. Like on the Vikings turf, it's just step and you can't turn. So I can
And
see
we've
where
been seeing quite a few Minnesota Vikings go down this year. I mean, I've seen TJ Hawkinson go down plenty of times. Justin Jefferson on
hamstring.
IR. He's going to be returning.
He is not
Um,
returning.
he's not?
He said that he is
He's off IR.
he's off IR. He is off IR. But they're waiting for him to. He said that I'm not going to come back unless I'm 100% healthy.
Interesting. Interesting. So it's a good thing that he wants to be 100% healthy, but with the team in the Minnesota Vikings being at the record they're at currently, you have a chance of making the playoffs, probably not winning your division. I think the Lions
It's going
are
to be tough
going to have it.
because this is the easiest part of our schedule. So obviously, the best team are
it
the Lions and the
there's a lot of
Bengals.
dice. Yeah, there's a lot of dice you can roll if you're Kevin O'Connell
Mm-hmm.
with your team. And I mean, with Justin Jefferson, like, I understand that he wants to be 100%. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And that's almost where you're seeing the thing with Aaron Rodgers too, where you're seeing him just like heal at an astounding rate. And people are like, "Oh, it's the ayahuasca helping him out," or it's like, "Oh, it's because he's he's immune or whatever. Um, and you know, if Rodgers comes back and he gets injured, he's really gonna bite a bullet, and it's probably gonna be his career right there. So Justin Jefferson may be doing one of the smart things. I just don't know if you're the Vikings, if it's a good thing to let him sit out when, I mean, you're already on a backup quarterback after your starter played at MVP level
Yeah,
until
it's
he got injured at Lambeau. But
yeah.
I mean, that's up to them. What do you think?
I mean, Cousins is done for the year. If it happened in like week one, I think you could have a very reasonable time frame with Rodgers on with his return. Because we all seen Rodgers, how he's already dropping back. He's doing just fine. Like as a Vikings fan, like you want Jefferson out there, but at the same time, you don't want to make things worse. So obviously, this is kind of turned into an injury into the Minnesota Vikings injury report.
You know what? It's a good conversation to bring
It
up though,
is. It's
because the
I agree. It is a
Vikings.
good conversation to have because you don't know what you're really going to get. Obviously, KJ Osborne went out of the game with a concussion against Atlanta. So who does that
That
leave
one
you?
looked
You
bad.
have your first round pick Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson as a tight end, and then you have N'Keal Harry, Brandon Powell. I think his name is Eddie Jackson. He wears number 9. I mean, these are your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th string receivers that are like, okay, like if we're losing by like 50 points, we're going to throw you guys in, or if we're winning by 50 points, we're going to throw you guys in. And like they stepped up. They stepped up. Like Brandon Powell, for example, good game, caught the game-winning touchdown. I think he's a rookie, but also seems like there's been a Powell in the league for a long time now, so I don't think he is. But yeah,
Yes.
it's all about the next man stepping up. It's no different with Zach Wilson taking on Rodgers, Jaron Hall, and then Joshua Dobbs. I'm trying to think of any other one. Joshua Kelly with Austin Eckler. I mean, it's the next man up. That's what it comes down to.
And I agree with you that that's all that it comes down to. I found a really interesting article here from Forbes. It has to do with so it's titled Daniel Jones
Oh yeah, he's out.
20th player sidelined amid debate over turf. And so Daniel Jones, yeah, he has the ACL injury. He's done for the season. As those of you know, or if you don't know, there you go. There's some information for you. But yeah, we mentioned Cam Akers getting injured. Kendrick Bourne got injured.
Yep, he's
He
out
also had
for
an
the
ACL
ACL.
injury, and he was having an outstanding year this year with the Patriots, even though the Patriots are kind of falling off. We talk about Kirk Cousins. Grady Jarrett, Atlanta defensive
Yep.
tackle, he went out for the year with an ACL injury. And in Atlanta, they play on turf. Ryan Tannehill, he did get an injury, but he's not going to be the starting
He's the
quarterback for
backup for the
the
remainder of the
Titans
season.
anymore. Matt Milano had the ACL injury in the London game. That's on grass. Justin Jefferson, turf injury. Tre'Davious White, I believe he had an injury against the Dolphins.
Which was on turf either way.
And no, wasn't that game in or yeah, that game was in turf. Yep. Mike Evans, he had a hamstring injury. This is all in October, by the way, that I'm mentioning. And these are all big names. Kenny Pickett, he was taken out
Ribs.
of the Texans game with an injury.
That was his ribs. But yeah,
Um
like injuries is
the list goes on and
yeah.
on.
I
I
was gonna
could
say we
keep
don't have time to
mentioning
go over all
names.
of this because well we got 30 minutes left.
Yes.
But
So
yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. I know like we wish we could go in more depth, but obviously we have stuff to do. We're also college students. We also have a social life. We love to do this,
yes.
but at the same time, we need to know when we gotta cram stuff in when we can. Unfortunately.
Absolutely.
So
We
next,
can move on to our next
yeah,
topic.
roughing the
then.
passer penalties. I mean, it really. Who did it start with? Did it start with Anthony Barr or did it start with Clay Matthews?
Man, you can almost go back to. I'm gonna be honest. Even though like it's roughing the passer, you could go back to that tuck rule, with Charles
Yeah,
Woodson
the
and
top
Tom
rule of
Brady.
Tom Brady. Even Tom Brady said, "Oh yeah, it was a fumble." Like
But like, dude, this stuff's getting so much out of hand.
it
It's getting
is.
ridiculous. Last week, DeAndre Sweat, he had a sack like, on Mac Jones, in the Commanders and Patriots game, and this sack was like quarterbacks holding onto the football
Yep.
like this, getting set in the pocket,
I
takes the
he
hit,
hit. It's like he
like
was coming from his backside. So pause. He was coming around his backside, so he was on his left tackle, his blind side, and he hits him like didn't hit him high, like hit him like helmet square in
he
the
hit him in the
back.
pads. He hit him in the pads.
Yeah, it
I
was,
mean,
he did everything right, but they threw the flag, and then it's all this controversy over and over again. Like, what's technically rushing the passer? Because if you look at him funny, you tackle him way too low, it's going to be roughing the passer. This also goes into our next one. Should the refs be penalized for that?
I okay, I myself, I've supported a lot of the NFL over the years, and even when there's bad calls that happen in a game, and I always like go and see like Instagram posts where it's like, oh, the refs blew the game, or the refs like made this team win,
Sorry, videos
or
going off.
even games this year where it's been the Chiefs winning games, like the one that they had against the Jets, and
Or
that interception
Minnesota.
happened. And there's so many different ones that you can look at, but it just makes me so mad when you read social media posts and then the comment section says, "Oh, it's this team against the refs," because
Well,
like
well, there's
yes, you
some teams
can
that get very favorable calls, like instance Chiefs, Minnesota, that game.
you can okay, you can say that they get favorable calls, yes, but when it comes to officiating, dude, that stuff happens right on the spot. These guys don't have eyes everywhere on them. It's their call to judge,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're on the field, I'm sure you as a football player can agree that the atmosphere looks a lot different when you're on the field compared to when you're watching in seats.
It is, yeah, you got that right.
Like you could see a blatant pass interference or a holding call out on the field, and a ref might just not see it. Like many times, teams have gotten away with the lineman going downfield on a pass, which you can't do that,
I
but
was
you
about to
see it
run
happen
downfield.
so much. Yeah. So when it comes to refs being fined, it depends what they do or what they say. I don't think that they should. They're trying to do their job.
Yeah, but at sometimes it's like so blatantly obvious that it is or it isn't that sometimes okay, there's got to be some punishments because they'll call like the Jets in Kansas City. I'm gonna go back to this. Um, I think it was Sauce Gardner that got the pass interference,
Sauce got the pass interference
and
penalty.
they let that go all night. But on the last drive that decides the game, to decide to throw it, he was been doing it all like the whole time. But at the same time, you gotta let them play. If you've been letting it play for the whole game, and they're gonna decide with 5 minutes left in the game, okay, now we're gonna throw it. That seems a little weird to me, honestly.
So you're saying that when they're just letting things go throughout the
Yeah,
entire
because the
game, but then
game
when it
isn't
comes down to the
close. You don't
last,
really think that it's going to be close because it won't matter, like in the second quarter or in the first quarter where things don't really matter. But with 4 minutes left in the game, they do the things that they've been letting them play, and that's one thing the NFL keeps on emphasizing. Oh, we're going to let them play. We're going to let them play. We're going to let them play.
for
You let
sure.
them play.
And
They do the same exact thing they did for 75% of the same snap counts. Then you decide a flag, which turns out to be an interception by the Jets. Could possibly go down and win the game, or I think they were leading. I don't think so. And that just turned the whole game around. Because then that dictated the game, who won and who lost.
I think it's okay. So this might sound like really bad coming from my end, but I think it's okay that the refs make calls. I think it's when they don't make calls sometimes that can really become a problem because you teams point fingers at each other all the time, like, oh, this guy held on to me, or oh, this is a pass interference or a holding penalty, whatever. But when they do not make that call, I mean, when it's so blatant and they don't make the call,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I feel like you can have that argument where they could be fined because if you have a penalty, that's playing the game by the rules. You broke a rule in the game, therefore you should have a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like playing dodgeball in elementary school. If you were to get hit by the dodgeball, you didn't catch it, then that's on the gym teacher to say, oh, you're out. Or it's on yourself to say you're out. But obviously, since these guys are getting paid, they're not going to say,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that was me who messed up. So when it comes to that, I hope that's a little bit of better comparison to help the
Mm-hmm.
viewers. I just think that when refs don't make calls, I think it's the wrong thing. That there could be a time where we could possibly have robots almost make automatic
I don't like
calls.
that.
Who knows? Who knows? We're in a time and of age where we're seeing robots everywhere. We see VR, we see AR, I mean, we see a lot of things go on, and it makes people question sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if our world's even real.
Yeah. But I think there should be a fine line. It's like, all right, if you're not even letting them play all the game, don't throw a flag in a crucial situation.
So, do you think they should be fined? Yes or no?
I think they should be. If it's really coming down to that, if it's dictating games, then
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Yes. I see.
Like
When it comes to that,
if
I
it's a
would say
pass
yes.
interference, it's a pass interference. Like you can't like the receiver's coming back to the ball and you just full on tackle him as he's in midair. That's gonna be pass interference.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you didn't throw a flag on something like that, that's when you should be fined. Because we're already having players get fined for not wearing freaking socks.
Yeah,
Tyreek
it's
Hill.
stupid.
It's all dumb, and players can't even wear some things that they'd want to wear, and dude,
It's
it's annoying.
everything
Roger
is has to be in
Goodell,
such a strict order that it kind of takes the fun out of it.
Roger Goodell, just figure out your stuff so the league can be fun again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good moving on point. Um, so our next topic is after two outstanding performances from last week's matches in the NFL between two AFC quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud. Do you consider these quarterbacks to be a part of the MVP conversation?
So I'm gonna pull up their stats right now. Their season
Let's
stats.
hear it.
Because there's one stat. Um, yeah, I just want this.
I believe CJ Stroud had a 147 passer
He
rating last
did, and
week
the
against
best
the
is
Buccaneers.
153.7. So when this is according to ESPN.
I thought it was 158.3. I thought that was perfect passer
I
rating.
thought it was 153.7.
I'll look it up while you do that.
So, it's funny that you say this because
It's a
it
158.3.
is all right. I thought it was 153.7. So Joe Burrow's stats are 1,800 yards, 1,861 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a QBR of 56.6. Not bad. He's 14th in QBR.
It's about average for a quarterback, yeah.
CJ Stroud, 2,270 yards, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception in 62.2, and he's 12th. So, in my eyes, CJ Stroud should definitely, he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
For sure,
When you
unless he
have
got
thrown
injured.
14 touchdowns to 1 interception is ridiculous. Now, I know it's going to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to compare. I'm also going to pull up Kirk Cousins' stats because he had a phenomenal year.
Sure.
But like
But when you also say 14-1 touchdown interception ratio,
that's unheard
you can
of.
almost compare that to the greats like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is known for his better touchdown to interception ratio.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I gotta close some tabs because my computer
what
is
do you
being
got on
slow.
Kirko?
Kirko is still loading. Oh, page unresponsive. Oh, hold on. So before Kirk got injured, he had 2,331 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a QBR of 63.3, which is 10th. So you can make a valid. This is halfway through the season. Remind you,
Yes.
he's on pace for roughly around 5,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, or yeah, 36 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, which is still very good.
And he did about half of that without Justin
Yeah, he did have this
Jefferson,
without Justin Jefferson. So that now if
who
Jefferson
was in
comes
the
back, Kirk's
MVP
healthy.
conversation a year ago.
Yeah, it's like, are you asking for his stats from last year?
No, I'm saying Justin Jefferson was in the MVP conversation last
He
year,
was.
which saying that Kirk Cousins was at that number without Justin Jefferson over halfway through the season. Unfortunately, that injury
Mm-hmm.
happened. You're looking at a possible MVP, but another part about the MVP
It's
award
a QB
that is
award.
important, it not just that, is how successful your team is.
Yeah.
So the problem with CJ Stroud and the Texans is that they don't even have a playoff spot. They are in the hunt. They are a team that is definitely considered to be in the hunt. I'm gonna look at the Texans' record. I believe they're 4-3,
I think so too. Or they're 5-4. Or they're 4-4. It's one of those two.
or five and
Yeah, they're
four.
5-4.
Let's see
But yeah,
here.
I think
So
that they both should be in the MVP just because Burrow is a bigger name, but Stroud is also doing super well. Those are my reasoning.
they're 4-4
Yep. So
this year.
500 record.
I believe they're tied for second in the AFC South
No.
behind the Jaguars,
Yeah,
who
Jaguars are in
seem
first at 6-2.
unstoppable. So it's going to be tough for the Texans to do something. And they did lose to the worst team in the league. Keep that in mind. Um, but that was one of CJ Stroud's only off days that he's had. This team, other than that, I believe they've averaged around 30 points a game. So they have an electrifying offense. And also keep this in mind, CJ Stroud is the only quarterback this year to throw for 5 passing touchdowns and no interceptions in a
And he
game.
also set the rookie record for most passing yards in a game, which was set by Andrew Luck.
Yes. So could we possibly see history of a rookie winning the MVP award?
I can tell you this is the best Ohio State quarterback that's ever come out of the draft.
I'll agree with you. And that's coming from me wearing the Badger sweatshirt.
We are both avid Ohio
An-
State haters, so
Another Ohio
us saying
State
that means a lot.
quarterback.
But
Yes.
yeah,
And another Ohio State quarterback, Joe Burrow, even though he went to LSU to actually play as a starter. Right now, based on how I've seen the Bengals play every year, they have a slow start every time. Joe Burrow had that injury. He's 100% now.
he is.
So don't
I got
sleep
some my
on
fantasy
Sleepy
lineups.
Joe. Don't sleep on Sleepy Joe. That's all I got to say.
Sorry,
As in Joe Burrow.
I
I
played
know we didn't
Briley.
say. Oh, nice. She was the one who said my name when she got back here.
Don't tell
But
her, but she has AJ Brown and Dallas Goddard still in. They're on a bye week.
she'll change it all.
Don't tell her
I'm
that.
very sure she will. We didn't say much about Joe Burrow, but we are kind of on a time crunch here. We think CJ Stroud at the moment is in that MVP conversation. Joe Burrow, he's right there, but not quite. You have a few guys ahead of him, like Tyreek Hill. You could almost say AJ Brown as well on the Eagles. He's having an
AJ Brown's been doing
outstanding
playing
year.
very good.
Let's see who else here. Tua Tagovailoa, he could be up there in the conversation. You got defensive players like Myles Garrett in the conversation. Daniel Hunter, you can put him in the conversation there too.
TJ
You got a
Watt.
lot of different guys.
You could put in
TJ
so
Watt,
many different guys, but it's going to be a QB award. Just call it the best QB award.
I agree. We can move on. Let's go to our top tens, Matt, where I say we just reveal them at the same time.
Yes, sir.
And you can do that for
All
us
right,
if you
in
like.
3, 2, 1. Oh, wow, you don't have to.
Interesting. Do you want to go with yours first?
Yeah, so
I'll write down the list.
yeah, we'll go right down the list. So at 10, I have the Browns. I think they were on bye week this week.
Yep.
They were. Honestly, they're still a very good team. They're figuring out the Deshaun Watson problem. I still have trust because right now all the AFC North teams are in the playoffs, which is wild to think. This might be the best division of football.
It 100% is the best division
Because you got to
in
think
football.
about this. The AFC is so much stronger than the NFC. I think we all know that from Pro Bowls and all such. I mean, you have the top 4 QBs in the league in that division. You got Allen, you got Burrow, you got Mahomes, you got Stroud. Someone's probably narking me right now because I'm forgetting their favorite quarterback. They're like, oh, he's good. But yeah, number 9, I got the Bills. The Bills are struggling.
I'm surprised
Oh,
you
no.
have them in your top 10.
Yeah, I forgot to put the Dolphins in here.
Dude,
Wait, you did
replace
too.
them with the Bills.
You forgot to put the Dolphins in yours.
I did.
Yeah.
Dude, that's funny that we both forgot about.
Okay, but
That's
here's the
because-
reason. The Dolphins have not beat a winning team this year. Their combined
That's facts.
the combined
I said that
record
last
winning
week.
percentage of the 5 teams that they've beaten, what was it? 267.
Matt, we were talking about weaknesses last week. I said teams above 500.
Dolphins can't beat them.
I was a freaking fool to pick the Dolphins beating the Chiefs this past
I know
week.
that
but
last snap ruined it. Anyways, at number 9, Bills. They have problems. One week they look like a Super Bowl contender, and the next week they look like crap. They're looking like crap.
That's putting it lightly. That's lightly too.
Yeah. This has not been good. It's not been a good year for them. They're out of the playoffs. They're not in the playoffs right now. I see you do not also have the Bills in yours. At number 8, I got the 49ers. They were on bye. They're riding a 3-game losing streak. Not very good. You lose to the Browns, you lose to Minnesota, then you lose to Cincinnati. Then you go on bye. You go into the bye week with 3 straight losses. Better figure out your crap soon because the Seahawks are coming to take your place soon.
They already have.
Yes, yeah, they have. So, at 7, I got the Cowboys. That was a very good game. I'll give them credit to they went toe-to-toe with the Eagles. I still think they're going to split the series with the Eagles. This is a team that we said if the Eagles are going to lose, they're going to lose to him. They're going to lose to the Cowboys.
Yep.
Almost happened. They only got to the 4-yard line on a 1st and goal, then penalties, and they got back to their own 35. Philly's 35. And then CD Lamb came up 2 yards short. Number 6, I got the Bengals. I mean, Brendne said it. They started super slow. They're 5-3. So obviously they're starting to come together. Everyone's healthy. Burrow's healthy. I mean,
Joe Burr.
yeah. They beat the living crap out of the Bills. That's who they played.
You see what I got right here?
Oh no, I'm actually looking at my script. Oh, your Joey Burr socks.
Joe Burr, baby.
Anyways, cracking into my top 10, I got the Lions. Um, they were on bye. And so I still think they're a good team. Obviously, we all know what happened against the Ravens against them. But if they're going to see the Ravens again, it's going to be in the Super Bowl. That's the only time they'll see them again. But at 4, I got my Jaguars. I'm still riding high on them. Still got the Jags. They've been playing good. They're 6-2 right now, leaders in the South. I believe they have the second seed in the AFC right now.
I believe you are correct because there's only I don't.
Yeah, they're tied
Yeah,
with
there's
first.
only one other
Actually,
team
they're tied with
with
the
two
Chiefs for
losses.
first.
Well, what about the Ravens?
Oh yeah, never mind. In the Ravens. Anyways, going to my number 3, I got the Chiefs. Chiefs are starting to look like the Chiefs. They lost to the Lions and they lost to the Broncos. I don't know which one is worse. Probably the Broncos because they were a 2-win team. But yeah, they're just starting to come together. You take away, I think teams are starting to figure out that if they take away Travis Kelce, Mahomes doesn't have anything to throw to. Matter of fact, I just saw earlier today that the Chiefs have the most drops in the league with 24.
Thank you, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, and Kadarius Toney. Number 2,
Real.
I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Defense needs to kind of step up a little bit. Obviously, tush push, it's always a Beverly shove. It's always going to work no matter what. But yeah, it's the Eagles. I've said this so many times, are not the same Eagles from last year. They've been struggling more, but they're still winning games. Their only loss came against the Jets, which is kind of bad. And the team to beat right now is the Baltimore Ravens. You play at home, you beat the Seahawks 37-3. And before that, you destroy the crap out of the Lions. So, I think this is a super real threat to the league and no one's talking about it.
The entire AFC North, to your point, maybe not the Steelers, is a threat. I think all 4 teams in the North have top 10 defenses in the NFL. And I would probably say the bottom defense right now is the Bengals, but they're going to be healing up. I mean, there's a lot of different keys and pieces to each of those teams that makes them special. And with you putting Baltimore up there at number 1, I'm like, yeah, I respect you for it. Because, I mean, I was riding high on the Ravens too. Yeah, they destroyed the heck out of Seattle, which looked like a straight up clueless team when they went in, just like they made the Lions look clueless. And the Lions and Seahawks, for both of us, are top 10 teams in the league.
They are.
So I respect your list. I'd probably just replace the Bills with the Dolphins, and
yeah,
I
this
think
is kind of
pretty solid.
A very rushed thing, and we didn't really think about who was in the top 10.
I think I had the Dolphins in my 3 after last week. And then I moved the Chiefs in there. And then I was like, I forgot to add Miami. But yeah, so going to my top 10, I'm going to do this quick because we don't have much time.
Yeah, we have
and there's 14 games we have to predict. So my number 10 is the Cleveland Browns. Like Matt said, they're a good team. They're coming off of that bye week.
I'm so sorry.
Buddy is sorry. I'll continue though. Browns, I think they have the best defense in the league. Myles Garrett is a legit MVP contender. He's such a good name to consider. Coming at number 9, coming off of 3 straight losses, San Francisco 49ers, but Brock Purdy and the 49ers had their bye week, so I'm looking forward to see Christian McCaffrey score 1 or 2 touchdowns once again this coming week. And at my number 8 spot, I have the Seattle Seahawks just ahead of San Francisco. Even though they got destroyed, I still respect a lot of heck out of this team. So I have them at my number 8. Number 7, I have the Detroit Lions. Um, they coming off of a bye as well. Um, and not much to really say about them. Matt and I have them in pretty similar areas. Me at number 7, him at number 5. Number 6, I have the Dallas Cowboys. They put up a fight against the best team in the NFL, in the Philadelphia Eagles, where Matt says they're not the same Eagles, but maybe that's a good thing that they're not the same Eagles. Because if they were the same Eagles, they fell short of winning the Super Bowl last year. This year, we could possibly see them going the distance. But the Seahawks, or not the Seahawks, the Cowboys, they played an outstanding game. Dak Prescott, he didn't even play that bad. It was just the penalties killed him at the end. And they put up a really good fight against the best. Coming in at my number 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. This team is really on the rise right now. I remember the first couple weeks of the year, I had them at the bottom of my top 10, and then later on, I took them out because they just looked like garbage. And now that Joe Burrow's healthy, Joe Burr
You're
is out and ready to roll and just throw the ball over all the defenders, pass to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, you got a bunch of different guys that he can go to. Joe Mixon's also playing well. Their offense is clicking, and they're becoming a really big threat in the North, as is literally every single team in that division. And at my number 4, I got the Jaguars, showing them respect, man. 6-2 on the year, playing really well. Their only losses are to the Texans and the Chiefs. So those are two teams that, I mean, I believe they're playing really well. I think the Texans are a team that's slightly outside of the top 10 considering how their quarterback played last week. But this Jaguars team, balanced on defense, balanced on offense. They're a really good team out there in the AFC. And at my number 3, I have the Chiefs. After beating the Dolphins the way they did, their defense is good. Their offense, they need to fix a few things. But I believe that they're going to be able to do that. That said, they have the most drops in the league, and a few of their receivers contribute to that. I think if they were able to pick somebody up before the trade deadline last week, Kansas City would have been in really good hands, but their hands are kind of missing. That's the reason why I got them at 3. And at 2, I got the Baltimore Ravens. It's a flip between 1 and 2 for me. You could flip a coin on it. The Ravens, I mean, they're rolling. 37 against the Seahawks. I believe they scored 43 against the Lions. It's something that's scary to see. So if Baltimore is playing at home, I'm probably going to pick them to win every time. The Pittsburgh Steelers are like their only threat to them. They don't play well against the Steelers. Don't know why. Division thing, maybe. But and at my number 1 is the best team currently in the NFL. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. I said it before. Matt said it too. They're not the same team, but hey, maybe that's a good thing they're not the same team because they fell short of winning the Super Bowl last year. And they got some pieces on their team too. Like they just picked up Julio Jones a little over a week and a half ago. Maybe that'll be a piece to their victory that they need, and they might have the sexiest man of the year. So that's my conclusion.
Yeah. All right, into game picks right away. Panthers at Bears, Thursday Night Football. I'm going to go with the Panthers. I feel like this is going to be an upset. I like the Panthers.
You know what? I've been doing my research on all of our podcasts when I picked the Thursday Night Football games. The last 5 Thursday night games, or no, every single Thursday night game, excluding the home or not the home opener game, the game that I went to in Kansas City, I've gotten all of them wrong.
Pick the Bears.
I'm picking the Bears. I'm picking them. This is a dumb pick, but you know what? Bagley or whatever your name is, I believe in you. You're gonna do well. I picked the Bears. Do you want to type this stuff this time?
Yeah, I can do it. So next we got Colts
I'm
at the
mellow.
Patriots. I'm gonna take the Colts. Colts are a better team.
I'm taking the Colts too in this one.
Browns at Ravens. I mean, it's the Ravens. We are their top two teams. So
I'm picking the Ravens too in this one, but I'm gonna say this is gonna
it's
be
gonna be a good
one of the
game.
better games of the
It's gonna be a
week.
good game. Packers at Steelers. I mean, I'm picking the Steelers.
I picked against Green Bay last week and Green Bay won. I I'm going with the Packers. I'm gonna hope and pray the Packers play well.
All right,
Green Bay.
49ers at Jaguars. I'm gonna ride my Jaguars high.
This is going to be another one of those really good games, but I like the pick as well. San Francisco is going to go on a 4-game losing streak, Matt.
Not expecting. Saints at Vikings. I mean, it's in Minnesota, so I'm gonna give the edge to Minnesota. But I don't know if Dobbs can recreate that magic he had. If he does, I think we're in for a good season.
He says that he's still trying to figure out the names of all of his teammates.
This man was a
I
rocket
think,
scientist at NASA who had an internship and dropped it to play football. He is ridiculously smart.
I was going to say that he's going to be calculating what the entire weight of a football is times the mass of his own teammates, and he's going to calculate it well because the Vikings are going to win this game.
We're going to win?
Yes.
All right, Texans at Bengals. This is earlier topic as we were discussing. It's in the jungle, the mighty jungle. The Bengal sleeps tonight. Give me Cincinnati.
I like the pick. The Bengals are riding a hot streak right now, and Joe Burrow's healthy. Give me Cincinnati.
Titans at Buccaneers. I mean, Will Levis looked pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Officially the starter.
He is, but it's like in Tampa. I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this.
Once again, I really like your pick. Baker Mayfield plays well in Tampa Bay, so I'm taking Tampa. Hopefully Mike Evans can do better.
Lions at the Chargers. This will be a good game, but the Lions are the better team.
Detroit. And I think it just comes down to how the Chargers defense goes in this one. Either it's gonna be a close one because the Chargers like to play in close games all the time. I'm gonna go with the Lions in this one as well.
All right. Falcons at Cardinals. I mean, Cardinals aren't very good, so this only leaves one other option.
Isn't Kyler Murray starting?
Oh yeah,
this week?
he is starting. I forgot about that. This will be his first game back.
I'm gonna take a chance and hope Kyler Murray plays well. I'm going with the Cardinals.
All right.
Falcons are struggling a little bit as well. So
Yeah. Tommy DeVito versus Dak Prescott. Give me Dak Prescott.
too bad Ben DiNucci isn't on the Cowboys
Ben
anymore.
DiNucci.
I'm taking the Cowboys though.
All right, Commanders at Seahawks. This could be an upset. I can see it happening, but I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Based on how both teams performed last week, I could definitely see this being an upset. I'm gonna take the Seattle Seahawks as well, though. They're just a more complete team.
All right, Sunday Night Football. Jets at the Raiders. This is the worst week for primetime games.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I'm going to say the Jets. I'm going to go with the Jets.
This is a tough one, man.
They both suck. That's the problem.
Zach Wilson looked like absolute garbage last week. So I have a feeling he's going to look like absolute garbage again. Give me the Raiders.
All right, Monday Night Football. Broncos at Bills. I think this is the only team in the primetime that has a winning record. I'm going to take my Bills. This is going to be a bounce back game. If they lose against this, they're in serious trouble.
This is a tough game for me to decide because, for one, the Broncos are on a 2-game winning streak, and their last game that they won was against the Chiefs. Yes, you can say Mahomes wasn't feeling well or
It's
whatever.
in Orchard Park, remember?
I do know that it's in Buffalo, but for some reason, the Bills just have not been themselves this year, and Josh Allen, he hasn't been himself either. I think he spends too much time with Haley. Um, I'm taking the Broncos, dude. Broncos country.
Let's swim.
Let's beat the Bills and win 3 straight games. Not ride. Not riding yet.
All right. That will do it in under 50 minutes. It's not that bad.
I'm so freaking hungry, dude. I'm going to go eat Panda Express with some friends.
I'm going to get sushi with some friends.
Hey, some of my roommates just had sushi.
Oh, where'd you look at that? Anyways, this has been Down on the Sidelines. Over halfway through this playoffs, it's starting to get a little wild. Teams are solidifying their identity. On the away sideline at Lakeland University, it's Matt Carlett, a.k.a. your boy, Matty Icy.
And here on the home sideline here in Stevens Point, getting ready to grub on the delicious plate of orange chicken and rice, as well as some Rangoons, is your boy, 99 Bretts, a.k.a. Bretts.golf, a.k.a. Brendne, Brendan Retzloff here on the home sideline. We thank you all for tuning in to episode number 11 of the Dots Podcast here on season 2. We will see you guys next time for episode 12 coming up next Thursday.
Enjoy
the football, folks.